Hey guys, I'm just going to be taking you through a little bit of shoulder mobility drills that you can do at home, just using a broomstick. I've got a PVC pipe, however broomstick will probably be much better, a bit sturdier. This is a little bit of giving it. So if you've got a broomstick, grab a broomstick. I'm going to take you through a couple of movements. So what we're going to start with first is normal raise. Grab it about shoulder width apart, and then all you're going to do in those raises is just taking it up overhead, reaching nice and tall, all the way through. Now your main focus is as you're moving, trying to keep the rib cage locked down, so not overextending, staying tight through those raises, just for about 10 reps, just normal raises. Once you've done about 10, what you can focus on doing is as you're driving through is squeezing your elbows in with that raise. So when you're driving those elbows in, going through and hitting about 10 reps, squeezing the elbows in. Once you've done about 10, you do the same thing, but then focus on pulling the elbows apart. So now sort of firing those lats up, working a little bit differently. Really pressing up nice and tall, keeping those elbows still locked up as you pull apart. And then once you've done your 10 there, you're going to hang on at the top for a second. Okay, keeping that rib cage, same thing, nice and tight overhead. You might find that's your front position, you might be okay overhead. You're going to then focus on pressing up. Okay, a couple of shrugs. Really driving up through with the broomstick. Okay, or your PVC. What I can then do, okay, is focus the same thing again. I can shrug, push in. Okay, a couple of shrugs pushing in. A couple of shrugs pulling out. Okay, in those movements, going through. And going through that pass through. Once you've done about 10 of each, what we're then going to go through is you take the hands a little bit wider, and the same thing again. Go through that movement. We're not doing the dislocate yet. You're just maybe getting a little bit more range on that movement. Keeping your shoulders back. We don't want the shoulders to collapse forward when we go through it. We want the shoulders to pull back, press back as well the whole time. And exactly the same thing, about 10 to 20 reps. You can play around with pulling apart. So you're firing lats up. Same thing, and then just pushing in, okay, against that band. So pulling in, you're probably going to find the biceps firing up a little bit more as well. Okay, pulling apart, lats are going to be stretching through with that. Okay, cool. So from there, what we're going to do is we're going to take it back behind the shoulders, so that position. And same thing, you want to keep the shoulders back, so grab a grip or width that's comfortable for you. You're going to be focused on pushing back through with that broomstick. But we're trying to go back horizontally. Same thing, you don't want to go over too close and you find the shoulders kind of caving forward. Keep those shoulders back, push back. About 10 times. Pushing through. We've done those 10. Okay, we're going to go to a slightly different movement now. So we're going to hit up and going through. Okay, and all I want, you're going to try and do a couple of circles. So you're going to do a circle through, keeping your shoulders back, hitting those circles, 10 reps. Once you've done those 10, change direction, so go to the other side. 3, 5. 7, 8, 9. Okay, cool. So we want a couple of those now. So next up, we're going to go through and do a couple of just dislocates. So as those shoulders are getting nice and warm, same thing, dislocate, take it with the grip that's comfortable, moving through. It's the same thing as I'm dislocating. I don't want the shoulders collapsing forward. It's all staying pretty tight. Going through maybe 5 at a time. Anywhere from 20 to 30 reps. So moving through. Once you've got this 20 to 30, maybe I can come in a little bit closer every 10. But same thing, I want my shoulders to feel, it should feel nice, it should feel like a stretch. Okay, just keeping the shoulders back in the movement as I bring that grip in. Just a little bit, maybe every couple, 5 to 10 reps. So for me, taking it a bit closer, opening up the chest. Going through there. Okay. So once you get those dislocated, we're going to reverse our grip now. So palms facing forward. Okay, I'm going to take that back, and same thing. Widen the grip, generally a little bit easier. I'm going to take it just wider than shoulder width apart for this one. And it's the same thing. We're going to raise back. Don't want the shoulders collapsing forward. Don't want that forward lean. We're just going to stay nice and tight through there. You're going to bring the bar up. A couple of reps. Just raising through first to start. Same thing. Not collapsing forward. Driving back. Feeling through. And once we've done a couple of those, hang out there, a little bit of movement, so side to side, move around, twist, okay, a couple of circles even, through there. As you're just playing around, trying to keep the height of the mat. Relax those arms for a second. We're going to do some bends, so the one thing is I'll take it back, try and keep that height, okay, and the same thing, I can let the elbows come in, extending forwards, bending through, so really challenging those triceps, chest as well. Okay, same thing, might be a set of a good 10 reps in that position, hitting those bends. So next sort of movement, we're going to go back into that dislocate position. You can now go through a couple of circles and alternate the circles. So always I'll take it behind, across, over the other side, and I'll change back the same way, try and think when I'm going through. I'm just keeping it nice and tight, so I want to go one way through, so I'm leading with my left arm. I'll bring it to the front, and then go back across with the right, finishes with the left, and same thing back through the left overhead, very towards and across. Okay, through those movements. A couple of reps. So I'd go through at least like 10 to 20 circles. Once you're doing that, you can do a little bit of play. If you've got a broom at home, much better than this. We can just do some basic opens. We can lean down, drive the chest through. You can play with where the broomstick is as well. Taking side to side. A couple of pulses through that position as well. This is just more of a kind of chance to freestyle through the movement, opening up through the chest. Okay, and then we're going to go through finally, okay, in a little bit of external rotation. Working on the front rack position, so if you are battling with the front rack, good little stretch to do. So one we do in class a lot, so I'm going to grab that, just at the bottom of the PVC pipe, take it, okay, on the broomstick, out to the side of my arm, okay. I'm going to grab it underneath, and then apply a lot of force to get that external rotation. Now with my hand grip, ideally, I just want my fingers wrapping around the bar. I don't need to be gripping it too much that way. As I externally rotate, I get the palm up. Okay, now what you can do there, once you've got that tension, you can do a couple of external rotations, maybe taking the grip up, just applying that force. And it's the same thing, more freestyle again, different movement circles, but I'm always keeping the hand wider than the elbow, maybe working on that height at the top, so it's going to go into the lat a bit more, keeping my midline tight through there, probably opening up the shoulders, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Where it's coming through, external rotation, so showing you that once again, through the bottom, grab it, get my fingers around the outside so my palms face up, and I can apply just that force, the bottom hand as I lift the PVC or broomstick up, and the same thing, a couple of circles this side, a little bit looser, getting through the lats as well, so if I bring it up higher, that is more my lats, going through, and same thing, just a little bit of freestyle, spending about a minute or so, just working up and down. Anywhere that really you feel you're a little bit tighter, or you feel the stretch. So for me, be more of a lat, playing with that external rotation, and then going through. Last little one, I'm just going to lead through. So if you've got that broomstick, okay, you've got a solid object, not like me. So ideally, with this one, stretching that overhead, the last little piece, I can rotate my palm so it's facing back. Okay, and then pull away with my hips. As I push, I'm going to have to grab that a bit higher up because I've got a lot of flex in my stick. Pulling through, maybe grabbing the broomstick a little bit lower, and getting the head under the arm as you pull through. Be the other side as well as I go through, same thing. Palm up, pull away, obviously with mine, too much flex, I'm going to bring it up a bit taller, head under, pull through there and apply some force. You won't have any flex in your broomstick if you're doing that. Going through that, opening up the lats. So hopefully once you've gone through that sequence, probably going to take you 5 to 10 minutes, but ideally, that overhead position should feel amazing. So if you're lucky enough to have a bar at home, okay, great for snatchers, or even if you plan on getting back into the gym, great for that front rack position as well. Great for your posture. So really good little move that you can do just using a broomstick. That's going to take you about 10 to 15 minutes. Go through that sequence, guys, enjoy it, and it will cross over into a lot of other lifts. Next session, we're also going to be going back into the pistols, plus looking at some drills you can do with the broomstick for ollie lifting. Thanks, guys.